Hello everyone. I am Gora Sengupta, speaking to you from Sydney, and we are going to discuss today a eco-friendly hand cleaning station for application in a rural setting. Just a bit of background from my side. I have a 40 years working experience in the IT industry, of which the later part has been in the telecommunications and computer networking sort of area. And presently, I'm working with a global service delivery organization in the area of cybersecurity. Now, approximately 3 years ago, I took a break and was involved deeply in some social development activity with an NGO called Mukti in the Sundarbans region of West Bengal, which is in the South 24 Parganas district in West Bengal. So my presentation today is context based on the Sundarban villages that we worked in, and I'm trying to present a solution which would be quite applicable in that area, but it would be applicable in any rural context as such. So I will start the slideshow on my presentation now. And so that's the title, eco-friendly solar hands cleaning station in a rural setting. And the context example I've chosen is from Sundarban villages, South 24 Parganas, West Bengal. It's based on my working experience in that region of the world. Now, hand cleaning is a major factor in preventing the spread of epidemics and pandemics like COVID-19. So there is a lot of literature and a lot of things on websites that describe various ways of hands cleaning, what is important and what is not so important. And I have found that there is varied opinion on this and sometimes conflicting opinions as well. So for the purpose of this discussion, I have quoted certain items from WHO, UNESCO, and US Food and Drug Administration. And they are, we can go through with these. So clean hands protect against infection. This is a WHO recommendation on how we should clean the hands. So it says clean your hands regularly, wash your hands with soap and water and dry them thoroughly, and use alcohol-based hand sanitizers only if you don't have immediate access to soap and water. So this tends to say that the best method is to use soap and water, and that is better than using alcohol-based hand sanitizers, but you may use them when water and soap are not immediately available. And how does the soap help in tackling COVID-19? Is that soap penetrates the oily lipid membrane protecting the COVID-19 virus and kills it, or at least dislodges it from the hands. So COVID-19 virus has got an oily lipid protective membrane all around it, and when the soap attacks that, it destroys that protective layer, which causes the virus to die quickly. And also because soap has got the effect of handling oil, it's able to easily dislodge it also from the hand. So when you rinse, that virus is removed physically from your hands. This is what UNESCO says. And what does Food and Drug Administration say? Warm water is not hot enough to kill bacteria, but it is more effective than cold water because it removes oils from the hand much more effectively, and that can harbor dangerous germs if allowed to remain. So while it's not absolutely essential, warm water is preferred to cleaning the hands. Clean water is required for cleaning hands. actually cannot use dirty water or contaminated water for cleaning hands, because after the soaping cycle is over, you have to rinse your hands. And in the step of rinsing, the initial step, it will clear the dirt and the bacteria. But if you keep rinsing with that bacteria laden water, it is going to infect your hand further. So this is not usually a problem in an urban setting where you've got water filtration plants to provide you sort of clean water, although you might boil it later on to drink it. But nevertheless, it is clean. Whereas in a rural setting, you are likely to have all kinds of bacteria in a stagnant water. And if you use that to clean hands, then that is not going to give you the results. Now, in my working in the Sundarbans areas, what I have noticed is this clean water availability is a very major problem for the Sundarban villages. Surface and groundwater sources are usually contaminated with solids, and due to its proximity to the sea, there's the Bay of Bengal, very high salt content and high concentration of lead, cadmium, arsenic, and you also have E. coli bacteria from human and animal waste that goes into those ponds. So these things have got various deleterious effects on the human system, causing diarrhea, loss of pregnancy, and death. And it's doesn't need to be said that using this water for washing hands is also not safe. More so in a pandemic and epidemic environment where people are spreading disease. And in addition, long-term exposure to arsenic in the drinking water can cause various other issues. So we need to tackle this problem of clean water in the villages, both from a drinking perspective and from a hands cleaning perspective, which is so important during the pandemic times. Now, there are certain water sourcing issues that are specific to Sundarbans. Well, when I say specific, this is what I've seen, but this could be the case with several other rural settings in India and, of course, around the world, is you've got limited infrastructure services. That means you can't, it could be quite difficult and time consuming and also requiring of funds to dig deep tube wells, what with the limited availability of electricity to power traditional water filtration plants. There is a large consumption of groundwater from multiple deep tube wells, and this causes the water table to gradually sink, so that within a 1 year or 1.5 year period of your digging the deep tube well, the water might suddenly vanish. So under these scenarios, using surface water, which is in plentiful supply in and around those areas, like lakes and ponds and rivers, etc., is the good source. However, you need to attend to the cleanliness aspect or purity aspect of that and purify it so that before using it, so that it doesn't have contaminating solids and E. coli bacteria. So one of the solutions appears to be that the naturally available solar energy is something which we should think about instead of electricity, whereas electricity might not actually be available immediately. So electricity might not be available immediately to that entire region, or it might not be available near the source of the surface water, from where you are thinking of purifying the water. So we now discuss about the solar water purification pilot proposal. And what we want, this is a concept paper, this is a concept stage of the entire game, that the solution that we want to discuss. And we are thinking about a completely solar powered and operated automatic water purification plant. And as with such things, it could consist of 5 to 6 panel water farm producing approximately 100 liters of pure bacteria-free water every day. And this could constitute part of a hand cleaning station for about 100 cleans per day, or alternatively cover the daily drinking water needs for up to 30 people, like a small village. The water input source will be surface water from either the sea or river or lake or pond, wherever that is available. And we could add to this capacity if we also built rainwater harvesting into the solution. So what would be the objectives of this pilot? So things like verifying the function of the purification system, in terms of sourcing of the input water, establishment of the panel farm, the year-round pattern of pure water production. There could be monthly variations. So with solar energy, as you all know, the energy output is not consistent. It will vary from day to day, depending on the weather, whether it's cloudy or not, will affect the production of this plant, capacity of the production of the plant. Then we verify the feasibility of operating this as a hands cleaning station, because a hands cleaning station is more than just a water purification system, although the water purification system is a major part of it, but still there are other aspects to hand cleaning. And establish an initially environmentally friendly water purification and supply based on success. And that, hopefully, if it is successful, it would attract further funding from national and international development organizations. Now we come to the actual solution, which is mainly the water purification part of it. Now, there is successful proven Australian technology that is used in a solar water purification system. And you can see the name of the company here. There's a company called F-Cube that have developed and implemented this technology. This technology is, therefore, it is proven, it is working. It's not something which, is just being proposed off the air. There is a lot of places where this is being used. And I'm not saying that we use this one, but what I'm saying is we can think along the lines so that we make this suitable to our context, and we make this suitable to what finances that we can afford to have this kind of infrastructure in our villages. That is what I'm trying to say. Now, what happens here is there is a container like this, and there is a membrane here which soaks the feed water. Okay, and the sun rays come from this direction, so this part of it is a transparent sheet which allows the sun rays, and the sun rays heat up the membrane and causes vaporization of this water, and then distillation on the inner surface of this sheet. And that distilled water is actually collected, and that is the output, which is a purified water, because it does not contain solids, it does not contain bacteria, and that water, which is actually waste, is actually going out through this, which the part of it could not be evaporated in the time. So this can be recycled, this water can be recycled into the feed while adding feed water from the lake or the pond. But this is pure warm water. It's warm because it's heated, it's undergone a heating process, and it's a pure distilled water. So think of it as if you are producing rain inside a sealed container and collecting that rainwater. It is a process like that. So solar water panels can purify water from all sources, directly from the sea, underground, as well as surface water, contaminated or wastewater. So it's got all this capability. One thing to remember is these panels are not solar cells. We all know what solar cells are. Solar cells actually generate electricity, and many of us have it on our rooftops and things like that. But this panel is purely a water distillation panel using solar energy and has got nothing to do with electricity generation. Obviously very environmentally friendly. We are not using any electricity. We're just using pure solar energy. And large reduction in carbon global emissions when compared with energy hungry desalination plants or millions of people boiling water for drinking purposes. So in that sense, it is very eco-friendly. So we can think of these panels joined in groups of 5, so 5, 10, 15 like that to 100 panel farms. Only land area and source water are what will limit capacity expansion. So this is a picture of such panel farms. This one is a 5 panel one. And it is taking feed water from this lake behind it, this pond behind it. And these are your farm panels, which are producing distilled water. This section here is a small solar cell, which is actually generating electricity. And what that is doing is it operates a small motor, which is pumping water into this system. So if you wanted to avoid this, then we have to think of another feed system, how to feed it. It could be manually fed or whatever way, but this is quite a cost-effective way of doing it this way. And this is the storage tank, which stores the distilled water. So we could think of a 5-panel farm with a capacity of 100 liters per day of pure water. And this is the schematic of the hand screening station. So just to quickly take you through it, this is the natural surface water from the lake or the pond. There is a solid particles filter. There is a solar cell operated mini pump. Now the reason why I call it mini pump is because it's basically a trickle feed. The evaporation process is not a very quick or instantaneous process. There is a bit of time that is required for the water to evaporate. So when it goes into the panel, into the farm panel, it can be trickle fed, and this will also be a trickle output, but happening throughout the entire day, will produce roughly 100 liters of pure water. So you need at least 1 day's production to support the next future day. So you'll have to start it off and then actually start consuming it after 1 day's production. So this is the feed tank, and these are the solar water farm panels putting water into the storage. And here you have a little contraption here, which is a timer controlled tap. Because of the wastage, many of us actually, when cleaning hands, waste a lot of water by keeping the tap continuously on. And that is not affordable in this scenario where we are producing small amounts of water, and we cannot afford to waste it. But we have to see that it is adequate for purpose. Now this timer operated tap has a clean cycle which is open for 10 seconds just for wetting your hands. Then it's closed for 20 seconds while you are doing hand soaping, while you're soaping your hands and rubbing it. And then after that, it will automatically open for about 50 seconds. We have to see whether this 50 seconds can be between 30 and 50 seconds or whatever it is. But it could be up to 50 seconds, for example, to have a proper clean. Now this timer tap is actually operated by another small solar cell, which will power the controller of the timer. Now that solar cell and this other solar cell could be one solar cell and producing enough power for both the pump and the controller here. Now this of course does not take into account what you are going to do with the soap and what you are going to do with the drying of the hand after cleaning, both of which are important considerations. So this is the place where a bit of manual effort might be required in a station attendant who either gives this soap and the dry cycle, the towel or whatever it is that is used, and we might need to have the station attendant do that along with other routine tasks such as attending to this filter if it is not clean, or just the securities of this entire setup. You would require some kind of station attendant, and that station attendant could be also selling soap for a very small cost, or selling a reusable towel, which the process could be such that you get a new fresh towel only if you bring back a fresh towel which you used yesterday. So that kind of process may need to be worked out. So there's a bit of work required in this area. So what are the pros and cons of the proposed solution? Pros is no need of electricity to operate. Therefore, it can be located close to the water source even if power isn't available there. There's a one-time setup cost. After that, near zero operating cost. Provides warm, pure water for cleaning. Could be used for cleaning as well as drinking water. So the benefit of this is you could use this for cleaning purpose as well as for drinking water purpose. Especially in the nights, it could be used for drinking water purpose as well. Could be used for cleaning as well as drinking water, as I said. Low maintenance with the membrane change once every year. So inside the panel there is a membrane which soaks the feed water, and that is that membrane that I'm talking about. That membrane might require changing once every year. And there is some potential for creating employment opportunity via the station attendant. The cons are no production is possible after sunset, reduced production on cloudy days, and additional storage required to support the next day during cloudy days. So that is what the solution is, and it's a concept stage. So the next steps could be in the area of feasibility study, financial aspects, whether we do a make decision or a buy decision. Like this solar cell, if we bought it from the market, whether we are able to support that from a financial perspective, or if it is better or easier for us to make the panel ourselves. That could be a cheaper alternative for us. Then the development of a pilot and or prototype, required testing and certification. We would have to, if we decide to make it, then we would have to get it tested and certified by relevant water authority. Establishment of a pilot operation, collection of operational data based on which we can make any improvements, and then finalize the technology and operations delivery.